Hey there guys, welcome back, Ricky here. Okay, so a lot of folks have been asking me how do I care for my cutting boards and what type of mineral oil do I use. Well, I actually use a 50-50 mixture of mineral oil and beeswax, but for this video I will show you guys the difference between a regular store-bought mineral oil that you can buy for $2 to $3 versus a butcher block oil. This one here is from Cutlery & More. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply the butcher block oil on half of this board and the mineral oil on the other half, and I'll leave it overnight. Then I'll come back and show you guys what they actually look like. Okay, so here is the mineral oil. See how it's a little bit thicker. It doesn't have the same viscosity as, let's say, water. The butcher block oil will actually react and act more like water versus an oil. So make sure I get the entire surface here. I don't use a rag to apply my oil because I find that the rag will absorb a lot of the oil and it's kind of a waste in my opinion. So I use my fingers to just spread the oil. You can also use a credit card. That makes it really easy as well. Okay, so this half, we have the traditional mineral oil. Okay. And this half, we're going to put, see how it comes on a lot more like water, how it's dripping out, more like water. And so it doesn't have that same stream where all of it comes on at the same time. And you can see how it's a lot more runny than the mineral oil, the traditional mineral oil. Okay. And you can see already on the corners, it's actually absorbing. See over here, it absorbs almost instantly relative to the other side, which nothing absorbed at all. But you can see here that the butcher block oil is being absorbed as we speak. You can see here in the corners again, they're being absorbed. Here, being absorbed. Here, also absorbing already. You see, they look the same from where you're standing. They do look the same from where I'm standing as well, but they feel different. The oil is definitely thicker. You can see here that the oil kind of takes a long time to settle. Here, it all blends together really quickly, and how it mixes. You can no longer see the fingerprints here, but here you can still see the pattern that I made. So it just moves a little bit slower. The camera that I'm using doesn't have a time-lapse feature, which I can show you guys a time-lapse of like a 24-hour process. But the mineral oil on my left, which is, I'm gonna put it here so I don't forget. This is the butcher block oil. I'll leave it right here. And this here is the mineral oil, traditional. This is also mineral oil, by the way. It's just called butcher block oil. But if you take a look here at the board, you can see that the board on the left here, where I use the butcher block oil, is mostly dry. So this entire area is dry, and there's a tiny bit of a wet spot right here, and there's just a tiny bit of residual oil still on the board on this side. But you can see here on the right side, where I use the mineral oil, the traditional mineral oil that you can buy at your local pharmacy, it is pretty, I would say it's about 60% absorbed. There's still a really big block, or no pun intended, a big area here that is still pretty wet, and there's still some splotches here and there. So you can see that in just 2 hours, the mineral oil on butcher block oil has pretty much completely absorbed into the board, with the exception of just a couple of areas right here and just right up here. And the mineral oil still has a little ways to go, and so I imagine that in a couple of hours when I come back, it definitely will be fully absorbed, and I will try to come back within a couple of hours. Dinner is going to be ready in just a little bit, so I'll come back after dinner. Hopefully it will all be absorbed by then. Alright guys, so we are back. It has been a total of about 4 hours since I've applied both of the mineral oils to the board. And as you can see here, it pretty much looks uniform, but comparing the two sides, you can really see that they look pretty much identical. I can't really tell which side is which. This area here is slightly matted. The areas on the side are slightly more, there's a slight satin sheen to it, so most of the cutting happens right in this area. So which one should you actually get? Again, the results are exactly the same. If you want to spend a little bit more money and have a mineral oil that is easier to apply, that behaves a little bit more like water and absorbs a lot faster into the board, the Butcher Block oil would be the way to go. If you're like me and you want something that's simple, that works, go to your local pharmacy, or I'll post a link on Amazon for a brand that I've actually used in the past. Go to the local pharmacy, go to the laxative aisle, and buy a, this one here, I think it's $3 or $4 for this 16-ounce container, and it will last you definitely at least 2 years or so of use. In the beginning, when you first have a board, you may require I would say one application every 2 to 3 days, but after about a month, the application can definitely be extended between once a month or so. I have found that with my cotton and dust cutting boards, the first 3 weeks is when they're usually a little bit thirsty, but after that, once a month is fine. I like to apply my oil once every week or so. That's just, I'm a little bit more maybe particular when it comes to how my board looks and feels. If there are other people telling you that you need to go buy an expensive Butcher Block oil, you don't. You just need to buy mineral oil. It's the same thing. Butcher Block oil has a thinner viscosity. That's the only difference between that and something like this. Okay guys, so it has been 24 hours since I last oiled up my board, and I already did a conclusion a few seconds ago or the day before, but I just want to show you guys kind of a follow-up of what the board actually looks like when the oil has been completely absorbed all the way through. So I haven't touched the board since last night, and you can see here that the board, there's no oil residue anywhere. It's completely dry. It looks great. So left side and right side are completely uniform in every way possible. So yeah, so the conclusion really stands. You don't have to buy an expensive Butcher Block oil unless you like the way that they flow better. If you like that liquid, faster absorbing oil, then the Butcher Block oil is fine. If not, you can just go to your local pharmacy or even a hardware store and pick up a general food grade mineral oil, and it works just as well. It just takes a little bit more time to absorb. But that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for being here, and feel free to ask any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer kind of the crucial questions once or twice a week in my videos. Alright, so thank you guys for being here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.